Hey Virtual High School, we're talking ACT English today. What exactly should you expect from this section, as well as a general tip? Up first, why are we studying by section? Well, every single section of the test is a little bit different in the way it's laid out. And that's because when you have a standardized test, you can't study for it like a normal test. The content always changes. What we have to be doing is studying the types of questions, because the types of questions will always stay the same. So if you can master the types of questions and get familiar with the test, you've studied for the test. Of course, there is some content. We'll get more into that later. Let's look at our ACT Canvas page. If you go to the modules on our ACT Canvas page, you're going to see a module dedicated to English prep. We're going to quickly talk through this module. Up first, about ACT English. You know that this is the first section of the test. It's 75 questions in 45 minutes. Remember, you are going for at least a 21 on the ACT, which means you just need to get a 60% on the section to get that 21. There are 3 types of questions, but in general, you're looking at the grammar and mechanics of writing. So, what can you expect from this section? You can expect a big writing on the left-hand side and questions on the right-hand side. Sometimes it gets a little tricky because it looks like it isn't a question. It might not say choose the best answer. It might just say nothing, and you have to go find the question. So even if it looks like there isn't a question, refer to the passage and find that number. And then you want to, as it says, choose the best answer on here. Sometimes there will be questions on here. We'll talk more about that in a moment. How do you choose the best answer? Well, here's some tips from Kaplan, and we're going to quickly go through some of these. Overall, the best thing that you can do is just think simple. Keep everything simple. ACT loves to be concise and clear, so don't go for a long, flowery explanation of something. We're looking for clear and to the point. Now, that being said, make sure you use context, which really comes into tip number 8 and 9 here. So using context meaning looking at the full sentence, or maybe if you're able to, look at the whole passage. ACT also likes to keep things simple by keeping things, as we say here, parallel. For example, if you read, my favorite things to do are running, swimming, and to read. That doesn't flow, right? There's ing, and then to read. No, we would want to add an ing, so it would be running, swimming, and reading. So it's all the same. So keep it simple. Watch for run-on sentences and comma errors. Look for basic things like subject-verb agreement, pronoun antecedent agreement. The ACT also loves to mess you up with transitional sentences and looking at commas or semicolons between sentences too. So if you're looking for a transition sentence, make sure you're using context to help you out. What's coming before, what's coming after, does it flow? Now, that being said, if you are reading something and you're like, yeah, that sounds right. Okay, double check it by your English grammar rules. Don't just go for what your ear sounds correct, because a lot of times when we speak, our grammar is not as good as when we write. So make sure you're running it through the filter of checking that does this work with a grammar rule. Also on the ACT Canvas page, you will see that there are some videos about how to do well in the English section. At the bottom of the modules page, you will notice some additional full practice tests. I'm going to open the 2018-2019 test to show you a little bit what the English test looks like. So looking through this test, you can see that we do have some question stems here for number 1, but it's still relating to the passage. Question number 2, there's no question stem. Same thing for 3, which means you are going to the passage every single time. So if you get on a roll with no question, don't get tripped up when all of a sudden there is a question. So let's recap about the ACT English section. You are doing 75 questions in 45 minutes. We only have to get 45 of those 75 questions correct to get at least a 21 on the ACT. Couple of tips. Most questions are in the passage and doesn't actually have a question. When you're answering, keep it simple, but make sure you read the whole sentence, trust those rules over your ears, and always use context to read the whole sentence, look at the passage. And then watch for those question stems when they do come up. Don't let that trip you up. Now, last thing, random ACT tip of the day. And this is one of the best kept secrets as a tip. And it is called letter of the day. Most people don't know that the ACT does have an equal number of letters as their answers. So there's an equal percentage of A's, B's, C's, etc. So that being said, let's say you're out of time and you have 5 questions left. What do? Do you pick a bunch of random answers? No. Choose your letter of the day. So when you walk into the ACT, choose whatever letter is going to be your letter of the day, And if you run out of time and you have 5 questions left, choose A for all of them. Choose B for all of them. C, whatever your letter is. You are more likely, statistically speaking, to get one of those correct than if you just randomly guess. All right, Virtual High School, thanks for listening to ACT English. Check out our Canvas page for more ACT help and practice passages, and come to tutoring where you can work one-on-one with a tutor to get your ACT English score higher.